Hi everyone! In this video, as promised, I am going to be talking about pastel pencils. Now, just to clarify right at the beginning, I don't mean the pencils that have they're made of pastel, like a chalk pastel core pencil. These are pencils which are regular pencils but with a pastel colour to them. Right, so let's start. I've got so much to talk about, I don't know where to start, but here we go. These, I think, were one of my first sets of pastel tone pencils. Now, these are the Holbeins. Now, there was a trend for everyone getting very into pastel pencils, and I bought these from Amazon, and this pack of 12 pencils cost me £50. Now, I didn't know it was going to be that expensive. The tin was £25, but the postage and the import duty added together cost me another £25. Now, fortunately, now in the UK we can buy these. They're available open stock and as sets from Jackson's Art, who export to the whole of the UK. They're based, they've got two bases, Gloucester, I think, and London. And so you can buy them now. Now they're about £4 a pencil, which is still, I think, one of the most pricey pencils. Maybe the Caran d'Ache Luminance are a bit more, but they're one of the most pricey pencils you can buy. But they are lovely pencils, so I will start off by showing you these. I love the fact that you press the tin and it opens. Now I have got some pencils in here that don't come in the set, so I'm just going to remove those. I bought these open stock. So these are the pastel tone pencils. You can see I've used them. Now I find that they're very soft. I have used them very quickly compared to some other types of pencils, but the softness is lovely, very buttery and smooth. But as I say, you do have to keep sharpening them if you want to keep a fine point. So that's the walnut. You can see how teeny these are, and I haven't replaced them because of the cost of them. So what I did a while ago, this is available in my Ko-fi shop, is I took the 12 set and swatched them here. You can see that, and I compared them to some other sets of pencils, some pastels. So this is the pastel tint set. These, you can see that one is quite different, and this is Prismacolor. This is Artex, which are a Prismacolor knockoff, so it's similar. This is Staedtler Design Journey. This is Polychromos, Arteza Expert, and Black Widow, some Scorpion, Cobra and Spider. So I compared them, so you can have a look at this, and if these particular 12 colours are really attractive to you, you can have a look and see whether you can match them up in any sets that you've got to save you having to buy them. Now obviously you will have a different feel to your pencil. You know, Prismas are quite smooth as well, but your Staedtlers are going to be quite hard, as well as Polychromos. Polychromos are a bit more vibrant. You can't, there's no pastel orange, for example, that sort of thing. But you know, you can match them up a little bit, so it helps you think, do I really need these? Have I got similar matches elsewhere? Okay, so but for me, I would say that the Holbein, the texture, the feel of the Holbein is probably the nicest pencil out of all the pastels that I've got. However, they are so expensive that I've never considered buying them. I haven't even put them on my wish list. And there is a 50 set of Holbein just pastel colours. It's very tempting, but as I say, it just seems so expensive. Apparently, if you buy from Japan directly, Japan's Amazon, it's a lot cheaper, but I wouldn't be able to comment on import duty and things like that. It would depend where you are in the world and things. So what I did was I got this 12 set, and I also very recently, sorry the glare of my light, got this Faber-Castell set. Okay, and the colours to me looked really similar, so I just did a little comparison swatch chart, which I will show you here. Now these are the Holbeins on this side. You can see that some are very similar. The first two yellows quite similar. This pink is very different. Yeah, you can see that, but it's actually much paler. which might be something that appeals to you. Some of these are paler. The thing with the Faber-Castell is they're very hard. These I just gently smudged. These I layered a lot to get this colour, and they aren't so smooth. They are student grade pencils, so they don't lay down smoothly. If I come really close, you can see it's a bit messy. So they don't lay down really smoothly. However, if you are wondering, am I going to use pastel pencils if I have them? You know, grab, you know, these cost, what, £12. So you basically get 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 pencils. So £1 each as opposed to £4 each is quite a big difference. You might be able to find them cheaper as well. So that's maybe worth getting a smaller set to try out. I do have another smaller, even smaller pastel set to show you. Cheaper, sorry, pastel set to show you. You know, because I'm thinking some people might not use pastels as much as they think they're going to. You know, that's my thought. Right, moving, where should we move next? We'll go to specific pastel sets. So this is the Brutfuner Macaron set. I very recently did a review of these, and here they are swatched out. Now these are softer than these. They come in a cardboard box. I haven't taken them out. And you get all the colours. I'm not going to show you. But you can see the colours here. So these are quite bright. I wouldn't say these were necessarily pastel tones. I don't think they're all supposed to be, but these ones here, much more muted, more pastel colours. They look really nice, I think. I've got to get a pencil case to put them in, I think. And I'm not good. I find that I don't use my Brutfuners if I leave them in the cardboard box, because it's really difficult to get in and out. And maybe I'm just lazy, I don't know. But you've got a nice range of colours. You've got a few more neon-y brights, pinks and things, and blues and greens. But then you've got some more dull colours here, and here you've got a lovely set of olives, which I always love. And you've got some interesting purpley pinks, muted greys. These are really, this colour, really interesting, the sea fog. You've got some corks and beiges, you know, sand, those sort of nice browns, light browns, which are missing in a lot of sets. I have asked someone to do a video talking about unique colours in certain pencil sets, which I'm going to work on soon. But beige cork sand, these sorts of light browns are so rare. You've got one in Prismacolor. That's it, as far as I'm aware. I will do more research for that video. And there's some lovely pale pinky colours as well, and light yellows. So there's some really lovely tones in that one. And the Brutfuners, they are a budget brand. I'm not sure how much they were. It was a gift. As most of my pencils are, I'm very lucky. So so that's another option for you. Now these are the big set that everyone has been after lately, the castles. Now with Castle, let's just take out the swatch chart for you. With Castle, they have sales a lot. Always look for a sale. Check their website and Amazon if they ship to your country, because you will find the prices might differ. So if you've got Prime, it might be cheaper on Amazon. You have to pay postage or whatever it is. Check and compare. Now we've got a nice selection here. In some ways we get a couple of greys, which I think is really nice, because a pale greys are quite difficult, although don't often come in pastel sets. But of course, if you're happy to mix sets, then you've probably got a pale grey in your Prismas, your Polys, your Chromaflows, Black Widows, whatever you might have, you've probably got a pale grey somewhere. But this sort of tone, these are quite interesting, sort of grey pink. And then you've got slightly more vibrant pinks. I like these corals over here. You've got some nice light, sort of yellowy tones. These are quite bright here, so there are some brights. Got nice olives again, which I like olives. And some interesting blues and purples as well. So those are your pastel tints. These are, again, I wouldn't say they're not student grade. They're supposed to be premium grade, but they aren't an expensive. You know, they're not in the region of Holbeins. People would say to me, oh, what's a good price? I can't say. Note it down, have a look, compare, contrast, whatever, you know, and prices will be going up, more likely to go up than down. They will have sales and things, but if you average out over the years, you know, with all the costs always rising. However, having talked about these individual pastels, oh, we've got one more, sorry, one more. I've got one more set of pastel pencils, which are, whoops, on this swatch chart at the bottom. These are coarse, I'm thinking, core colors. Now, these are in this pencil case. Here they are, here, look. Now, I just grabbed one out for you. These are budget pencils. These are probably the cheapest that I found. I'm not sure if the pastel ones are available on US Amazon or only UK Amazon, which obviously could be a bit of a problem for some of you. They've got no name, no number, whatever. This looks white in my camera. It's actually a sort of light pink. Well, it's that colour there, I think. And you get an interesting range of colours. Let me hold it closely. It comes in a 12 or a 24. I was sent both, which was very kind. You can see you've got a couple of very fluorescent colours, which obviously aren't really pastel-y, but you've got these nice pale pinks, and there's some vibrant ones in as well. It feels to me, when I look at all the pastel sets, that you tend to seem to get some vibrant as well as more pastel tones, and I'm not really sure why they do that. For example, if I come down here, this is the regular core set. That one there looks more pastel-y to me, and that one there, than this one here and this one here. So, you know, maybe we just have different ideas of what pastel tone is. But anyway, those are called, now these are very cheap as far as I'm aware, and although I haven't used them loads, they are a nice pencil. They sharpen well, they keep their point reasonably well, they do blend, so they could be a good beginner set. I would definitely say try them out and see if you're going to use them before you buy an expensive set. But let's move on to the next bit. Let's just put those on the floor. Bear with me a moment, because there are sets of pencils which have some pastels within them, and you may have these sets and not necessarily realise that you've got pastel pencils. So these are Castle Arts Gold, okay, and here is the swatch chart, sorry about that. So if you look through the swatches, you've got some really pale yellows, you've got some very pale peaches, you've got pale pink, and that one's reasonably pale, you've got some pale purples here, you've got a few light greens, a light blue, and over here you've got a sort of almond, like a very light beige, you've got a nice pinky grey there, and you've also got your pale greys. So you have got a fair amount of pastel-y tones, you know, even this mint green here, within the set. So if you have this set, you could play around with taking a few of those out and just playing with those and seeing how you get on. Now, one thing I've noticed with pastel pencils is if you layer them up, you don't necessarily get a darker tone. So if I'm layering up this brown, for example, if I colour lightly, it will look a lighter shade than if I layer it up. It will become more intense. With a pastel colour, like say this almond, I don't think that would happen. So you tend to have to mix that with something a bit darker if you want to make it look a bit more shadowy. And so if you're using it within a set like this, then you've got all those other colours you can mix with it to get those effects. So that's the Castle Arts Gold, but obviously not every one of you is lucky enough to have those. They were sent to me by Castles, very lucky. These are my Black Widows. Now Black Widows has a huge selection of pastel tones within it. However, because Black Widows are sold within small tins, you might struggle to get them all easily. So let's have a quick look. So we've got these very light yellows, and that's the couple of them are in the Cobra set, one of them's in the Scorpion set. And if we come down here to these sort of orange, pale oranges and sort of almost beiges here, we've got quite a few in the light skin tones. Dragon, the original Black Widow spider set, that sort of thing. So it's mixed again. We have skin tone here. Monarch The peach is a monarch, but we have this scorpion. We have a mango, which is a nice light one as well. Then we have these lovely light pinks down here, which are barely visible on camera. You can see they're lovely and light. And those are monarch and SL. What's that? I'm trying to remember. It's not scorpion. It must be, oh, skin tone light. The monarch set does have quite a lot of pale pinks in, but I do have a swatch chart where it's split by set, so it could be worth, I haven't got it in here, but it could be worth having a look at that if you're thinking, oh, maybe they are an option for me. Then have a look and see what you've got available in the different sets. So here we haven't got, these are all quite dark, but down here in these we've got a scorpion, pastel purple, a dragon, this sort of bruise, a cobra, tulip colour, and then this one in the dragon, this one in the monarch, you know. So there are various. The greens maybe not so pale. There's one down here, a cool green in the monarch set, and a peppermint in the monarch set. And up here, these are all from the monarch set as well. They're all quite pale. And then we have these as well. That's a bit vibrant, isn't it? We have these oyster, that's monarch, and a suede from the SD Skin Tone Dark set. And then down here we have a few light greys as well. The brown fog from the light skin tone, monarch dark grey, which is really light. Gunmetal from the monarch. So it looks like the monarch set is worth a look if you like your black widows. Black widows, I find they're quite good to blend. They're fair, they sharpen to a nice point because they're quite thin. Overall, I find a nice big range of colour. Now, we are looking at Prismas. I haven't unzipped them, bear with me. Now, Prismacolor naturally has a range of pastel colours within it. So if you have Prismas, you may have no need to ever buy pastels at all. Let's have a little look. I can get the case open. If you have a quick look, you can see these light yellows, these light pinks, all these light mauves. Let's have a look at the swatch chart. So, yes, so we've got the cream, the eggshell, the ginger root, which is a very strange colour in my opinion. You've got deco orange and jasmines. Sand is quite pale, and then down here are your pale pinks and peaches. You've got a lot of very pale blues, some pale greens. You've got a putty beige, and there's a beige as well somewhere. I'm not sure where I put it. Putty beige, I don't know. Oh, it's down here, over here, peach beige and light peach, and beige is there. So there is quite a good, and there's some pale French greys, pale cool greys, pale warm greys. So I think that, and grey lavender, you've got an amethyst, is quite pale. I think if you have got a set of Prismas, there's probably no need for you to buy a pastel set. You've probably got nearly everything you need in this set. You've got pales, you've got, you know, you've got a set of pastel colours really. So I really think that if you've got Prismas, you're probably absolutely fine. But let's look at a few other sets that I picked out. This one is Tombow Erogeton. Now we have actually pastel sets in here. I didn't actually look at this before I made the video. These are Crayola skin tones. They're quite pale, but they're very hard. So in our Tombow, you can see we've got loads of really pale colours, loads and loads of pale greens all the way down here, some pale yellowy sort of browns, cork here which is very pale, pale greys, greens, pale blues, pale purples, pale pinks, and even some pale yellows, not a few sort of apricot and peaches. Now the only thing with Tombow is they are quite expensive and they are very hard. I would say they're about as hard as Crayola, which is why I put them in the same pencil case. It takes a lot of work to get, and they are beautiful colours. There are some very, very unique colours in the sets, but as I say, very hard, and they're available open stock, which is always an advantage for. I haven't used mine for ages. I really need to get them out and have a play with them again. There's some really nice sort of earthy tones here, you know, a bit of a lacking in dark grey, dark brown, sorry, only a sepia. and even dark grey, but you can use the black. But apart from that, you know, they are nice but very expensive. I think if you want a nice pastel set, these probably aren't the ones to go for, but if you've got them, get them out and have a little look. My next set is Derwent Chromaflow. So trying to get them out. Now we have a few in here. Trying to find my swatch chart. Here we go. So the Derwent Chromaflows, the advantage of Derwents, you can get them open stock in the UK very easily. They sharpen to a nice fine point, but I find Derwents do break quite easily. Not as bad as Prismacolor. Yeah, they've got a reputation for being very breakable, but they do. And considering the cost, sometimes I get a bit upset about how much they break, but you know, I'm finding better if you use a really sharp blade in your sharpener. It helps a lot. So we have got some very pale yellows here and pale oranges. We've got a sort of peachy tone here. We've got some pale pinks. The pinks are quite limited. I always find this in all Derwent sets. We've got our sort of corally pinks, yeah, and we've got our sort of plummy pinks. We haven't got any fuchsia pinks, like Barbie pink, that sort of pink. Now, I am not a big fan of that type of pink, but if you are, there's, I mean, the jazzberry, maybe it's not, I'm sort of talking aside, really, it's not about pastel, but there's nothing, there aren't really any of those sorts of pinks. You know, I'm thinking polychromos, fuchsia, middle purple pink, light purple pink, sorry, pink Madder Lake, those sorts of tones. There's nothing like that. And the purples, we've got a few here and a few here. So this one a bit, so we've got a few. And blues. Now, we've got some very light blues. What I find with Derwent is you tend to get a really, really light and a really, really dark. And I think the expectation is that you can make colours yourself using those. Okay, but these quite lights are good pastel tones. We've got a sort of turquoise. We've got a few lighter greens here. And then over here we've got a light grey green. We've got some sort of Naplesy, sandy, light brownish colours here. There's no beige again. That's our lightest brown. It's a bit, but we've got a few French greys type tones, and some sort of light colours here. That's white. So there are some in this set as well. And my last set to play with you. Whoops. Oh. I think what it says on this label is incorrect, but we'll see. I don't think. These are Polycolour pencil and Faber-Castell Classic. Right, yeah. I was going to put my Faber-Castell pastel pencils in here in a bit. So these are the Faber-Castell 60 set, the classic ones that come in the red box. And in here you've got a few pastel-y tones as well. So you've got some yellows, that orange maybe, but you've got this sort of peachy one here. You've got some light pinks, you've got a light purple, light blues, a turquoise, you've got some more sort of turquoisey light greens. You've got this sort of nice ochre, a sort of light brown ochre, a few light greys as well. So you've got quite a good range even in this set. So I think what I'm trying to demonstrate is that you may not need a specific pastel tone set in order to get the pastel colours that you're looking for. And looking at your current sets, whatever you might have, if you can pick out some of your more pastel-y shades and use them on their own and have a think about whether that's enough for you, whether you want a set of pastels, a small set to just complement those, or whether you need something big. Personally, I think probably if you've got the Prismacolor, you don't need any pastel tones at all. If you've got a few others, you might want a little bit, you know, but think about, like with these corset, for example, there's no browns and there's no greys. at all. So think about whether that's something you think you're going to want. And there's also none in this set or this set. So there are pastel greys and browns in the Holbeins, but just not in this particular tin. So think about what you're looking for, what you want them for, and that, you know, and prices. Now it's hard to tell you what the best prices are and what the best value for money is, because prices do vary through the year depending on who's got a sale and who hasn't, and also they vary across the world. But I would definitely suggest that you start with a budget range like these cores, or even maybe the Faber-Castell ones, but these are quite hard. They're not as hard as these are probably the hardest ones. They're almost a little bit scratchy. You have to be a bit careful. They're beautiful, and look how pretty they are in the tin, but you have to be a bit careful, or see what you've got in the sets that you've got already, before you go and buy something like the Brutfuner or the Castles, which were a big set, or even the Holbein, a big set, and you might find that maybe you're not using it as much as you thought you were going to. Because I do find that if I do a whole page or in just pastel tones, I feel like it hasn't got enough depth to it. I feel like I need to add more colours to it, to add some different tones, and that's all that fine. So what I often do is when I use my pastel tint pencils, I use another set of castles alongside and add some shadows with those. I realise that some people don't like mixing pencil sets, and that means that that could be a problem for you. And so try and experiment with what you've got, have a think about it, have a careful think. It's a lot of money to invest in pencils if you're not going to use them, so just have a little think about it. Think about how much you like pastels, how much you think you're going to use them, whether you've already got some, you know, all those questions before you go ahead and buy. But you're going to want to know which are my favourite. Well, I have to say, if money was no object, I would say these. But these slightly wrench at me, because when I bought them, I didn't know how much they were going to cost me. So I have this sort of feeling that I thought they were going to be £25 and they ended up being 50. That's a lot of money. So, but I have bought more. You can see that I bought these sort of light browns. I've got another one somewhere and a couple of greens. I've also got a navy blue. So I have bought more Holbeins because I do really like them. But they're so expensive. If you were buying some for the first time, I would probably recommend the cores, if you can get them. These, try them out first, see how you get on with them, see how much you use them. These are Cores Colors, spelled like this. K-O-R-E-S, K-O-L-O-R-E-S, like that. So I would go for those first and just see how much you use them. I use mine quite a lot, so I've got others. I also just get sent them, and I do enjoy using all these different types of pencils. My next, after that, I think I haven't used my Brutfuner enough to judge. I've only had them for Christmas, so I don't know, so I can't say. But with regards to my metallics, I have Castle and Brutfuner. I prefer the Brutfuner, but I can't say. My Castle pastel tints, they are very nice pencils, I have to say, as a set. But most of mine others aren't sets. So, you know, Prismacolors are really good. You know, they're really nice. And what else have we looked at here? Yeah, there's the Castles, Prismas. Yeah, the Artex I'm not so keen on. They are a dupe of the Prismacolor colours. Some of the colours are very similar, but they're not as nice. So you pay, I think you get what you pay for. The Staedtler Design Journey, they aren't properly pastel, but because they're hard pencils, they go down lighter. Now the polychromos, there's no they're not pastel at all. In order to make these look pale, I had to just colour lighter. The light ultramarine is probably one of the only pastel tones there is in the set, really. The Arteza Experts, I haven't used those for quite a long time. Again, they're probably not properly pastels, but you can get a few from there. And the Black Widows, the problem with the Black Widows is in order to find a nice range of pastels, you'll probably have to end up buying quite a lot of different sets. It depends what you've got already, and they're an interesting pencil. I feel like they're slightly harder than like Prismacolor, but a bit softer than polychromos. You can get nice point, which is quite nice. They do, but the point disappears fairly quickly, quite soft. They do blend well. They are, and you can buy them open stock in a bit of a weird roundabout way. Now, buying things open stock, I realise is important to quite a few people. The more expensive sets tend to be, you can buy open stock Derwents, polychromos, Prismacolors, what else? Holbein. But the cheaper, more budget pencils, as I say, Black Widow, you have to go to their Facebook page and you can buy them through there. I think if you personal message them, they'll give you a quote for pencils and postage. They're in Australia, so I don't know how that works out postage wise. The more budget sets like Arteza, Castle Arts, Brutfuner, Cores, you can't buy open stock, which means if you run out your favourite colour, like I have done here, you know, I've run out my yellow there. I really could do with buying another one, but I can get that, just that one, if I want to. In fact, there is a shop near me that I can go and buy just that one pencil if I want it. But normally, yeah, it's not always that easy, but Prismacolor, you can do that, etc. Now, in the UK, I use Coloured Pencil Shop, colouredpencil.shop website. She's very good. She tries to be very environmentally friendly. Her prices are competitive. She's an artist herself. She has a great respect for pencils. She plants trees out of her profits. It's all very lovely, and as I say, her prices are very good. But she doesn't have the Holbein. Those, I think the only place I know to buy those is Jackson's. So it's sort of up to you, really. It's a bit of a toss-up as to what you can afford, what you want, but as I say, look through the sets you've got, pick out your pastels, have a play with them, see if you like them, see if you think you're going to be using them a lot. If you haven't got any, go for a budget set and play with those and see, because sometimes I think they're the type of pencil that might just get put away and not used very much, depending on, I mean, they don't show up very well on pictures with black backgrounds. I mean, I fell for the thing thinking they'll look lush on, you know, black background, it'll look amazing. No, because it just looks washed out and pale. You know, it doesn't work. You need it on white paper, which most of us use, to be fair, but you know, it's just a little warning there as well. So I hope that gave you a bit more information and was interesting. It's very tricky to sort of say go and buy this or go and buy that, because it's obviously very personal as to whether you like soft or hard pencils, what your budget is, where you live, what the prices are where you live, etc. But as I say, top tips: find some in your sets and play with them. Get a cheap set first, or a few open stock is another idea. You know, just buy a handful and see what they're like. And if you've got Prismacolor, you've got enough, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I waffled on for long enough, I think. I hope that was useful. I hope that you have a really super day. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and I will put links to these. This is a free download, and so are some of these other bits of paper, so I'll put some links. But if you need anything, if you want some swatch charts for any of these and you can't find them on my Ko-fi shop, let me know. I'll send you the links and things like that. So there we go. But thank you for watching. Hope you have a super day and happy colouring.